Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff. 32 minutes past the hour. Liftoff on Apollo 11.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen of the people of the world? This is the Standing Brothers Show, episode number 61. We're coming at you live as of right now, Friday, 5:06 p.m. How is everyone doing? Hope everyone's having a wonderful weekend. Week. The weekend is upon us.
Yeah,
it is
right.
afoot. The weekend is afoot.
Yeah. I'm having a better week than Jerome Powell, that's for sure.
Well, and we shall get into all of that. But first of all, you can follow me. Join the adventure. Jerk Standards, JStandards _ is the Twitter account. And you can follow Joe at Joe Stamberg. The email, of course, is thestandingbrothershow@gmail.com. Send us your thoughts, concerns, criticisms.
Inquiries.
Or just say hi.
Yeah, that's possible, too.
You can also just DM me and say, hey, Jacob, I know that it's been a rough week for everyone. And I just want to let you know that I'm rooting for you, buddy.
We're in your corner.
I'm rooting for you, buddy. Now keep it up. Great job.
Yeah, no one's going to do that.
How are you doing this week, Joe?
Like I said, I'm having a better week than Brother Jerome for many reasons. Other than that, I passed my midterm exam on my stupid American government class, which is basically just glorifying the state, which, you know what, whatever. But yeah, great week.
Yeah, that's what I took that last semester, and there was a funny
It's painful.
There was a funny bit in the first chapter. They were just going over the basic structures of the government, and then it got down to anarchism, and it said that it's the unfortunate state without a government. And I'm like,
unfortunate.
I need more context. I need more. I was like, no government. That sounds kind of awesome.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I thought that was it's all this glorification of the state. It's all it is. But man, what a week! What a week to get into the show, and what a week to start some of these topics we're gonna get into. I got about 2 or 3 I want to touch on, and then I have one Twitter garbage thing I wanted to mention as well. That I thought was pretty funny. But you just want to kick right into it, Joe?
Let's kick it.
So the big story that came out of this week was that Governor Abbott, the governor of Texas, lifted the mask mandate and all other restrictions, essentially returning the state back to normal. And I got a couple thoughts on that, and so does Joe. But of course, whenever you open up anything fully before we're quote unquote ready, or before it's the all clear, there's going to be the inevitable freak out from these idiots on Twitter and from the media about how people are going to die, and you're
remember Ron Death Santos?
Yeah, and people are going to die, and it's going to be the end of Texas, and it's going to get out of control again, and you don't lose some restrictions when you almost beat it. This is unacceptable. This is terrible. But Abbott, who I think has been probably one of the worst governors as far as the GOP side on all this. I think this is the right decision, but my personal opinion on this is there's a great Babylon Bee article that came out that was headlined Greg Abbott is hailed as a conservative hero for giving back freedoms he had no power to take. And it's true. It's true. Should there be like a breath of fresh air? They're like, yes, we're finally back to normal. Absolutely. Like, yes, there should. But at the same time, the way I look at this is that if the government banned freedom of speech and they said you can't say these words, and all of a sudden they say I'm giving them back to you. Is that a good thing? Yes, but they shouldn't have done it in the first place.
Right.
These states shouldn't have closed. The mask mandate shouldn't have happened. The lockdowns should never have happened. And now that he's given it back, yes, that is good. And I think that it's the right decision to make. But I don't think he should have made the decision in the first place.
I agree. I had some conversations with people about this at work, and they were like, "Oh man, I want to move to Texas." I'm like, "Yeah, I said, I think Abbott should be dragged up by his hair and should never hold office again. And they were like, well, wait, what? I said, first of all, he had no legal authority to do this. So praising him for doing the right thing because he did the wrong thing initially is like, oh, thank you, sir. Can I have another? It's like, oh, Stockholm Syndrome much?
Yeah.
Greg Abbott should never hold office again. The only people that I might consider should maybe hold office again would be like maybe DeSantis, because he was the first one to say, yeah, this is stupid. And then Brian Kemp, who's still a loser. I mean, come on, the guy's a loser. He was the second one to say, you know what, yeah, we're not doing this anymore. But Governor Abbott should get no accolades. Should say, you know what, it's about dang time that Texas of all places, Texas is supposed to be the bastion of conservatism, Republican freedom, and yet they had one of the longest mask mandates for a Republican state ever. And of course, the outrage from people on the left and the woke people is just in absolute insanity, because no one is saying that you don't have to wear a mask. He's just saying, I'm not going to arrest you for not wearing a mask. So if you're so concerned about people not wearing a mask or socially distancing, then stay home. No one's saying that you have to go out in public if you're so concerned about it. I think I was listening to Eric July, or it might have been Pete Quinones, and they were saying that more people, the people that live in Texas are saying that more people are wearing masks now out in public since this. It's like, what? What? Now, second of all, if you own a business, or if a business owner wants to, still maintain a mask mandate or maintain social distancing in your establishment, fine. I think you're stupid, but fine. But the reason why people are so upset about this is because people are not being compliant. They're not complying with the quote-unquote rules. They're not following the rules. They're not being obedient. And for the people who say, well, I follow the rules. I do what the CDC tells me. Dr. Fauci said this. The CDC director said that. I'm following the rules. Look at me. I get a gold star. Those people are like, oh, we can't force these people to do what we're being told to do. Ugh, I can't stand this. So they lash out in fear and anger. And that's what's happening in Texas. And it's the same thing that happened in Florida with Ron Death Santos.
Yeah, that's what I absolutely find absolutely hilarious, is that there's some of these business owners, some of these individuals who are freaking out about this, and they're saying, well, I'm going to wear a mask even though there's no mask mandate. And we're like, that was always an option.
Yeah.
Like that was always an option. Well, I'm going to quarantine even though it's not mandatory now.
Stay home.
Okay, that was always an option. Well, my business is only going to have 25% capacity and everyone has to sit inside of an inflatable dome, right? I own a restaurant. So we're going to have one table in the center of the room, and that's all we're going to have. Okay, that was always an option.
Yeah. The rules are basically going back to what it should have always been. Voluntary. You want to wear a mask? Yeah. Fine. You want to social distance? Fine. But you can't force anybody to do so. I think it was in either Alabama or Tennessee. I can't remember. Where in places like Costco or Walmart or whatever, they actually had state troopers monitoring the lines in people in grocery stores, making sure they had their mask on and were socially distancing. That's literally insane. That's like the SS or Stasi level kind of crap right there. And the people who are in outrage over that are the same people who seem to be anti-cop. But yet they want the cops to arrest people for not wearing a mask. Like, can you pick a side? Seriously, pick a side. Back the blue or don't back the blue. But it can't be because, COVID. So,
it's those people who really aren't anti-cop.
No, they're not.
They're anti-cop whenever it's on some sort of social issue.
Well, he stood on he kneeled on someone's neck.
Yeah, that they're not like these people are not anti-cop. They don't really believe the whole ACAB thing. They need the police to carry out their orders.
Yep.
All these politicians are not anti-cop because they know that the police are going to be the ones that are going to hand out these and issue these orders. I do know that Texas was the majority of the Texas police departments and sheriff departments said they are not going to enforce these. They have better things to do. Good for them. If I was a police chief, honestly, and I was getting complaints from some idiot that a business was not social distancing and there was no masks worn by staff, I would say, okay, complaint, right to the trash. I wouldn't even give it time of day because you know what? There's, murderers and thieves and rapists that probably need our attention a little bit more.
I will personally put it through the shredder.
I'll personally put you through the shredder.
So that's another thing I was talking about with someone about, the whole legalization of like weed and stuff. And they were like, well, what are all these people going to do who are at the border that, control the, weed and other stuff like the other drugs? I said, wouldn't it be so terrible? Wouldn't it be just awful if we had them go after actual criminals, like rapists and murderers and thieves? Wouldn't that just be awful if they were actually going after victim crimes?
Yeah,
Wouldn't that just be terrible? Oh, can you imagine that?
Because if you, so if you grow a plant in your house or in your yard, and someone comes over and gives you, has a monetary exchange of goods with currency or whatever for a product, just like say tomatoes, and there's a peaceful transaction of goods and currency, where's the crime done?
Right. And it's
because there is no crime.
And it's the same thing with the COVID stuff. Like, well, if they're not going to be enforcing the COVID stuff, well, what are they going to do? I don't know. Like actual police work?
Yeah. No, there's no reason. These people, it's really becoming more and more. I mean this. I was not fooled by any of this for as long as I could. I've been against these lockdowns ever since they started. Even before they started. Back in February, whenever they were itching about this last year, I said, yeah, it's a bad idea. It's a bad idea. And some people said, well, people could probably die. I said, yeah, it's a virus. I get it. It's terrible. But first of all, they don't have the authority to legally. And I said, you lock the country down, you're going to have Great Depression-like results. And what happened?
Yeah.
Exactly what I said. You had depression, like unemployment, stock market crashes, all of that happened. I was 100% right on that. And that's not patting myself on the back. That's just knowing a situation and knowing the outcome from it. And here we are. We're approaching 1 year, 14 days to flatten the curve, and there's still no end in sight.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, Johnson & Johnson got their vaccine approved. Canada recently approved it as well. Gun to my head, if I had to take one of the three, I would rather take Johnson & Johnson. There's a one and done, more of a traditional, not one of these experimental things. I still will not be taking the vaccine.
Because theirs is different. That's not the RNA style vaccine like Pfizer.
It's something different. It doesn't have to be kept at like negative 200 degrees Fahrenheit or whatever. It's much
basically 0 Kelvin.
Yeah, it has to be 0 Kelvin. It has to be kept just like in a refrigerator. Which is, that's pretty common for most things like that.
Right next to the leftovers.
But they're saying what Biden said, we're gonna have a vaccine for every adult by the end of May. That true. That may, I don't know. That may happen. There's been a tendency with this Biden administration to set a intentional goal that's too far out, so that way they beat it and they're like, oh yeah, look at us, we beat it, even though they secretly know they'll have it by like April or whatever. They'll say they're gonna have it by the end of May, so that would mean say, oh well, my administration sped this up and we got it done in a month and a half faster.
There are outrageous excess of leadership, and we're just so better than the Orange Man.
But the thing is that
Corn Pop is a bad guy.
Corn Pop, him, he was one bad dude. The thing about the thing I don't understand about the vaccine rollout is, I've gone by a couple of I've just driven by them in our local area. There's one in Atlanta, and there's one here in Griffin. There's vaccine drive-throughs, and they're always empty. So I don't know if that's just no one. I don't know if that's because they don't have them, or if that's because no one's going to take it. That's a big thing. I don't know if people are understanding or grasping, is that maybe the fact that we're not vaccinating as quickly is because people don't want it. Like, I know that there was they said that Texas has one of the lowest per capita vaccination records or rollouts, whatever. And I was like, okay, is that a fault of government, or is that just because people are not aligning to take it? Like, I'm not sure which one it is. And they're not being clear. Of course, not being clear on that. What do you think?
As far as
Do you think that people are just not taking it, and that's why we're not getting this vaccinated as fast?
yeah, I that could be possibly be the case. I think I saw a statistic that it was just under 50% of people said that they were uncomfortable with getting the vaccine. Now, I mean, if that's true, I mean, you've got, 47 or 45% of people said they don't want to take it. That's a pretty big hill to climb. And the guy who was in charge of Operation Warp Speed, I can't remember his name, he's some army or military guy. And he says, well, if we can't convince the general population to take the vaccine, then that's our fault. So, yeah, it is kind of their fault. If they haven't instilled enough confidence in the people that this vaccine isn't going to make you grow a third head and it's not going to kill you. I actually had some conversations about this vaccine with people that I go to school with. And one of the ladies who's a little bit older, she's like in her 60s. And she's already gotten I think she got the Pfizer, or not the Moderna. What's the other one? AstraZeneca?
Yeah, so there's Moderna, Pfizer, AstraZeneca. That's the Oxford one. I don't know if that's over here yet.
I don't know. But anyway, so she got the initial, then the booster, and she was like, everyone needs to get it. And I said, but for someone like me and someone like you, Jacob, and other people in my age, we really don't need it. And she said, well, don't say that. I said, but it's true, though. I mean, you look at my chances of surviving this thing, it's over 90%.
Over 99.9%. So
I don't need a vaccine for that. And it's hilarious to see all these, quote, libertarians and like people like Ben Shapiro on the Tweety saying that, you got to get the vaccine because it's the right thing to do. And it's like, why do I need a vaccine for a disease or a virus that has a 99% survival rate? It's just stupid. And I think even old Nick Starwalk was, quote, tweeting something about how, let's just suppose that the virus kills 1.1% of people per 100,000. Would you still get it? I'm like, no, I don't need it.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people, rightly so, are concerned about it because this vaccine was so rushed that people have seen in other countries that there have been negative effects of it. There's people that their arms have swollen to 2 sizes, larger than it normally is. So if that's some kind of allergic reaction or whatever, I don't know. But I think there is some legitimate concern behind a vaccine that's not even a year old. They don't know how long it's going to last. They don't know what the long-term effects of it will be. So I think people are rightly so have concerns about it.
I think it's that.
I'm not anti-vaccines, by the way.
No. I think it's that, but I think it's the response to people having some questions and having some concerns. If you say, hey, I don't feel comfortable taking this X, Y, and Z, I point to article where someone had this kind of reaction to it and it was pretty negative. That's not allowed. Like, that's swiftly taken down. You're not allowed to talk. You're not allowed to talk bad about this.
You're
thing.
anti-science.
Anti-science. You're anti-vax. You're not allowed to say this. You're not allowed to say that about it. And I think that's kind of scary for a lot of people. I think a lot of people look at that and they say, well, why are they suppressing the freedom of expression to voice concern about something that's actually very relevant and topical in this culture right now? So I think that to me, that's a big thing that I look at. I say,
well, I mean,
I don't know.
If you think that the party of science, right, all the people say you got to get the vaccine, no questions asked, if they were truly about science, then would they allow, okay, hey, you got concerns about it, let's talk about it. Let's open the books, let's show the receipts, let's talk about it. Let me try to convince you instead of shame you.
Yeah, but that's not happening.
Right. But if the party of science, as they say they are, we're truly the party of science. They say we're allowing debate. We're allowing other people to look at our research instead of just, oh, well, trust us because I'm cool. So, yeah.
Yeah, so closing up on Abbott's thing, if you were already wearing a mask, already quarantining and staying home, the fact that, like, in our state, there's little to no restrictions, and in Texas now there's no restrictions. No one is stopping you from continuing to do that. If you want to put your life on pause until I don't know who, I don't know who you're waiting on, I don't know what you're waiting on, until whatever you're waiting on comes true, nothing's stopping you from doing this. So you just can't tell other people to do it, and I think that's the big thing. What is the fantastic tweet that Michael Malice put up? He said, He said, crap, I went by it.
Dead air.
Sorry, I had it up.
It's
No,
really-
okay, sorry, no, I have it right here. So Malice basically said that they're not afraid of you because you're not wearing a mask, or else you would just distance yourself from them.
Right.
They're afraid of you because you're being disobedient,
Yeah.
and that's honestly what it is. It's because there's people who are gonna like, well, no, like you can't question the mask issue. No. You can't question lockdowns. This is unacceptable. Not allowed.
Science.
It's not allowed. You're not allowed to question these things. Oh, what? So you don't want to wear a mask whenever you go out in public? Well, no. You are not allowed to question. This is a settled thing. And the very fact that you have people like Abbott, the Mississippi governor did the same thing. Arizona's fully open back up as well. So we are. The steam train is.
Was it? No, I'm thinking of a different state.
No, so Arizona opened up fully.
No, there
yesterday.
was another Republican state that decided not to reopen completely.
Was it Alabama?
It might have been. It might have been Alabama. In Alabama of all places, you'd think
Well, yeah.
pretty deep red state, and they're still dealing with that crap.
Yeah. But no, we are in a steamroll. We are just going to keep going, and I think that Texas being, obviously by size the largest state in the union, I think that now that they're open,
That's not true.
the largest by yes, it is. By area, it's the largest.
Alaska.
Yeah, but that doesn't count. Alaska doesn't count, and we all know this. Come on, Joe. We all know that Alaska is just like Russia light. Come on, we all know this.
Okay. Still a state.
No. But yeah, this is one.
That's just blatant misinformation.
That's
Jacob.
just one.
You deserve to be canceled for that.
I mean, I'm already canceled. It's fine. Like, listen, you can't cancel somebody that hasn't done anything yet, or that
Well,
hasn't been.
you are
There is
spreading
nothing-
No, stop it. I am speaking. Excuse me, sir. I'm speaking.
I'm speaking.
You're spreading misinformation about the size of Texas versus the size of Alaska, and I'm here to correct you that Texas is a larger state than. That Alaska is a larger state than Texas. On this, there will be no debate. You cannot question the science on this, Jacob. You cannot question the geography on this. Okay. On this, there will be no. Oh, you just Googled it. You just Googled it, and Alaska is the largest state. Okay. You are canceled. You are shamed. Be gone from me.
It has. Okay, we're not going to read that.
No, go back to that. Wait.
I can't. We're in the past. So, folks, how about those markets this week, man?
Nice bait and switch, huh? Hamstring's supposed to be pretty strong after all that backpedaling.
So this was this week in the markets. Not to dilly-dally too long because there are way better people to talk about this than me. The markets this week had an interesting run. I'm gonna post. The Wall Street Journal did a good breakdown of it this week, and you can go read that. But essentially, what happened is that there was mass movement in the bond market yields of the 10-year Treasury in particular. So what that means is that whenever bond prices fall, the interest or the yield of it goes up to entice more buyers because people are selling them. This came after Federal Reserve Chairman,
Brother
Jerome. Fed Chairman Jerome Powell, who
it's Jerome.
Jerome. Oh, okay. Whenever Powell came out today, this week, was it Wednesday? I think. Yeah, it was Wednesday. Came out and did a talk and was trying to cool the fears of possible inflation. Why is inflation bad for the stock market and for the market as a whole? Well, many of the stocks right now in the market are being traded at such high multiples, and they're being traded on such high forward earnings, which basically means that people are buying these stocks right now with the promise of making multiple high earnings in the future. If that makes any sense. Does that make sense, Joe?
Keep going.
Okay. So a lot of these growth stocks, a lot of these more tech stocks are relying on people buying a premium because they're very expensive right now. The market is very pricey, there's a lot of fluff out there in the market. So they are buying, especially these heavy tech names. They're buying these stocks on the promise of making money in the future. They're paying a premium right now. And with inflation, it means the money they're going to make is going to have less and less value into the future.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
Yeah, that makes
so we saw a complete collapse of the NASDAQ complex, which, composite, which, if those of you know, is extremely tech heavy. It makes up the vast majority of it. At one point this week, it was down near 6%, which for an index to move 6% in a week, that's a pretty big shift. And the only things that, I mean, we had a very big rally today. We rallied about 1.7, 1.8% across all averages. S&P touched 1.9% with the rally today. But this is the only things that did well were the more agricultural stocks, the industrials, the utilities, things that will thrive better off of an inflation or inflated commodity prices, such as oil,
lumber,
food, anything that deals with commodities versus a service-based business is going to do better, obviously, because if oil is more expensive, a company like Exxon will make more money. So that's why we saw a bigger move, and even is like some of the auto manufacturers like Ford and GM went up today. Tesla doesn't really move with those. Usually Tesla moves with the tech stocks because that's what it's
Elon
traded.
Musk gets a different haircut.
That's true as well. But Powell did not cool the fears of inflation, and people started dumping bonds, and people started dumping stocks, because he said that there's volatility to be expected. No, sorry, that wasn't him. Wrong quote.
Ooh, again, that misinformation.
He said that there is some inflation to be expected, but it is temporary. And of course, those lines put a lot of people on edge, because if anyone who is anybody, as we've said in the show as well, there has been extreme, massive money printing and injection of liquidity into the markets, which can cause some disruption. You saw a big move in oil today, up nearly 4%. We're touching $67 a barrel. So I think that I think that Powell was not going to be able to say anything that wasn't going to cool those fears. Except,
well, he can't say anything.
Yeah, because he knows the truth.
So here's my theory on this. So everybody knows what's going on. Jerome Powell knows what's going on. All the Fed board governors know what's going on. All the CEOs, the hedge fund managers, everyone on CNBC, they all know that inflation's out there. Because at some level, I don't care how far deep you are into MMT, modern monetary. They don't care how far into that you are into Keynesianism or whatever. Everybody knows there's inflation, but nobody wants to admit it. Because if Brother Jerome admits that there's inflation, that everything's going to come crashing down. So you can't go out there and say, you know what, I'm really concerned about this. Because anytime the Fed chairman says, I'm concerned about something, people panic. But the people that are panicking already know the concerns. So you've got a situation where no one wants to admit it, but yet these people were selling off all these assets and spinning everything into turmoil, but yet no one wanted to admit that there was a problem. Because if they admit there's a problem, then everyone freaks out. But all the people that are going to freak out already knew the problem in the first place. So it's really a joke. This whole thing is a joke. It's really what it is. And you're playing with other people's money, and you're not being honest about it.
No, absolutely. His comments were very, very wishy-washy, and you can, I'm sure you can go on YouTube and find a video of this of a CNBC. You can see it live. As he's saying what he's saying, you can see the Dow and Nasdaq start tanking. Like, as soon as he starts saying stuff like, "Well, inflation is to be expected, but it should be short term, and it should be a transition, and it shouldn't be sustained," you can just see how you can see how the markets react to this, and He's trying his best to fool people, because he knows.
I would hate to be him.
Well,
Because
He
no matter
knows.
because no matter what he says, he has to be so careful in how he responds to questions and what he says in statements, because his words literally move markets. His words literally decide
break things.
make or break things, decide on who is going to make money, who's not going to make money. Which is honestly, that's way too much power for any one person to have.
Yeah.
If you can tank the Nasdaq 6%, that's way too much power.
Well, yes, the president has the ability to enact a military strike, whether you believe it's constitutional or not. We've seen it happen with Biden this last week. But I would say close second or first is the chairman of the Federal Reserve as far as the most powerful man in the world. A single word from him can move the entire world financially, because the U.S. dollar is the reserve currency, which affects everything. Our dollar affects the currencies of the UK, affects the currencies of Switzerland and Canada and Australia, because everybody's currency is judged to ours. That's how you compare how much of
a pound is worth.
Exactly. So, he holds a lot of tremendous power. I don't think that
in other central banks like the ECB, they all take cues from Powell and from the Fed. So whenever he says something, they basically just copy and paste it for their own central bank.
So that we had a very, very wild week. It was a lot of crying, a lot of crying. The Mad Money was very interesting this week. I usually I try to watch Mad Money just because I think that Jim does a good job kind of breaking down what happened in the day. I don't agree with him on everything, but I like his take on stuff. And this week there was a lot of rough. There's a lot of heartache from people out there, but hopefully people will make some right moves, like I've made some right moves to get myself ready for all this
craziness,
insanity. But yeah, man, you can just see how a single word, man, just or even a lack of words right there can just have a dramatic effect on everything.
Yeah, 100%.
What do you want to talk about?
Whatever you want to talk about.
You talk about Miriam?
Let's talk about Miriam.
So, poor Miriam Cuomo, man. Poor Miriam.
I don't feel bad for me at all.
Poor Miriam Cuomo, man. It's bad enough that he sent elderly people to die in nursing homes. I mean, that's pretty bad. Covering it up, that's also pretty bad too. But now he has 3, I believe, cases of sexual misconduct or harassment against him. So, man, the cards are just stacked against this guy. He was being accused 3 times now. Yeah, 3, right?
I think yes, 3 times.
Because it was 2, and then someone else came out this week, and now it's up to 3. There's that funny photo that's the photo of like him, holding her face, right? It's really, really creepy. Did you see that one tweet where it is, they photoshopped the Joker face paint on him, and it looks like it's that scene from the Dark Knight when he's holding like Rachel's face.
Oh yeah,
it's like, come here, and he has the knife in his hand. He's like, oh, come here. That's funny. Yeah, so there's a serious call for him to be removed, serious call for him to be taken out of office. He said that he is not going to resign, that he's not going anywhere, even though many Democrats from the state Congress and state house have done it, as well as Republican Congresses, but even just like Congress as far as like the federal government, they've all called for him to be removed. But you know what's funny about all this?
Oh yeah. I you and I are thinking the same wavelength.
You know what's funny about all this? Sorry if my voice sounds weird. I have a cough drop in. But you know what's funny about all this? We did an entire podcast, our entire show, few years ago about a little man called Brett Kavanaugh. And Brett Kavanaugh had an entire kangaroo court style Senate confirmation hearing based on no evidence besides a single woman's word. And the entire Democratic Party, the entire leftists, the entire left Twitter, all the NPCs, all of the blue check marks were all up in arms that we have to believe this woman. We got to believe her. Sure, her evidence doesn't make sense. Sure, her words aren't lining up. We got to believe her.
Miss Blasey Ford.
You got to believe her. So Julie Swetnick, we got to believe them. It doesn't matter. Believe all women. Brett Kavanaugh probably didn't do this, but the fact that he's being accused and the fact that he could have done this.
The potential's there.
But we don't have evidence that he did it, but he could have done it. So that's good enough to probably not confirm him. That's an argument I heard from an actual person. was that he could have done it. So we got to look into it, and maybe he shouldn't be confirmed because it's just, man, we just don't know. We just have no idea. But it's so funny. We're not getting the same treatment about Cuomo. It's just, we have 3 women who've come out, and there's actually some kind of photo evidence of this. This is the same thing that we saw with Biden and the one victim who came forward. What was her name?
I don't remember.
I can't remember, but she had a story about Biden, and it was just all kind of just, we don't believe all women now. It's only whenever some we don't like, then we gotta believe them. And this is not even going to say the man killed people. Like, the man actively covered up, and there was.
Can I read you 2 headlines?
Yeah, go for it.
This is from Slate, and this is by the same writer in both of these articles. So the first one is from September 28, 2018. Headline: Fear of Justice Brett Kavanaugh. Subheadline: As his confirmation steamrolls ahead, Americans should be terrified. March 3rd, 2021. Same writer. Headline: Maybe it's a good thing Andrew Cuomo is still governor. Subheadline: The Me Too movement should welcome due process.
That's
Slate.
That's Slate. That's bad. That's really, really bad. The New York Times basically had a whole post about it saying that Cuomo is losing power and the allies are in crisis. And I mean, the vice grips are closing in on this man. Was this probably coordinated because he, killed people and hit it? Probably. It's not a coincidence. It's probably all coming out at once just to pile everything on him. Good for it. Do I personally think that he did this? I have no evidence to support that he did this. The one photo of him holding that woman's face, it's a little creepy. You can see on her face, she's not really enjoying it. She's not really having. Let's just say this. She's
Extremely uncomfortable.
She's not having a good time. Okay, she's not having a good time. You can see the look on her face. There's plenty of memes out there you can see of that. But it's just funny, man. It's funny that believe all women and justice and just her words and her testimony. That's enough to convict a man. That's it. It's over.
Well, I thought you were going somewhere else with this.
Where were you going with this?
Well, I find it hilarious that what we're not talking about now is the fact that thousands of people died in nursing homes. Isn't it all convenient that as soon as all this stuff is going on about nursing homes, he gets accused of sexual harassment? Now, I'm not saying that these people were paid off or that all this is fake. That's not what I'm saying at all. Maybe as they're looking into his past or finding all this other stuff that he's been doing. But I just think it's convenient. I think it's funny that we're no longer talking about the nursing home deaths. We're talking about his sexual misconduct and misdeeds. Which, again, Cuomo is as creepy as creepy can be.
It's true.
When you look like he does and you sound like he does, you look like you belong in the mafia. Legit. And given the history of the Cuomo crime family, it wouldn't surprise me of this kind of stuff that's been going on in their past. But again, yes, what he's being accused of by these women is awful, and they should at least be heard, and we should look into it. But at the same time, can we please keep on track here with the thousands of people that died in nursing homes because of his decisions? I think put things in proportion, please.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. I do find the whole lack of Me Too moment. I find that.
But I'm so done. I'm so done with the double standard, though, because you have to know by now that they don't care. They legit don't care.
No, I get they don't care.
Right, but to even go on with it is like, okay, so what? Like, what are we, the five now? Talking about the hypocrisy of the left? I mean, come on.
No, yes, but it's still vastly important because
Yes,
they
it is.
destroyed a man and his family over completely unsubstantiated claims, and they had an entire Senate hearing that the entire world saw, and you had people who were completely justifying not voting for him just simply because a woman accused him of something, even though she had no evidence and there was no way to corroborate claims. She all of the witnesses that she called to testify on her behalf said, yeah, this didn't happen. Yeah, I don't know who Brett Kavanaugh is. Yeah, none of this happened. The fact that this man was questioned about how much alcohol he drinks and what happens to him after he drinks, he's like, well, if you have 2 beers, what does that do to you? He's like, really? Are we talking about the personal life of
I like
a
beer.
man?
I still like beer.
Of a man in his high school and college years? Is that now grounds on the Senate? And no, it's disgusting what they did to him. And we're not seeing any treatment at all. We're not seeing any of the same reaction. We're not seeing any calls for him to step down. If you remember, this happens all the time to people on the right. If there is any sort of misconduct or any sort of charge against these people, they're called for their removal immediately. Like it's not even a question. Yes, there's being calls for Cuomo to be removed, and people are beginning to turn on him, and I don't exactly.
You're a little late to the party.
Yeah, a little late to the party, but I don't exactly. What's the word I'm trying to look for? Wish him well. Like, okay, it's one of those things where I've always said that if anything bad were to happen to a governor, which I would of course would condemn, but I wouldn't exactly be like, oh no, clutch my pearls.
Yeah.
I'm not saddened by this. If he did these things, then he should get the book thrown at him, 100%. I mean, he should already be in a prison cell right now for what he did with the nursing homes. Like it's already be a thing. The fact that he's not, and he's still sitting and we're not talking about that. What they should be saying is that, Andrew Cuomo, murderer, also probably grew up some woman.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like if the CDC ever admits or Fauci ever admits that he was wrong about the masks, they were wrong about the lockdowns, then at some point, you got to hold these governors accountable. Does that mean that Gavin Newsom needs to be sitting in a jail cell? Well, maybe. I think that you can make a case for all the governors to be sitting in a jail cell somewhere. The ones that issued the mandates and lockdowns.
I mean,
masks.
every single governor, but I think South Dakota.
Yeah.
Locked down. I don't think South Dakota locked down. I think Kristi Noem was the only one that did not lock down. And I'm by no big fan of her. But she's the one that at least didn't shut a business down.
Right. I was also having a conversation with people about that whole First Amendment thing we talked about, how Brian Kemp was introducing that bill that would not allow for future governors to shut down churches, and they were talking about how this is a great thing, and I said, you do realize that the First Amendment prohibits that in the first place.
Yeah, there's no need for this.
And I said, well, so what's a new amendment going to do if they don't follow the first one in the first place? Like nothing. It's like all those people that support the Article 5 Convention of States to add new amendments. Like, you can't even get them to follow the first and second one. If this last year proved anything, they shut down churches over a virus. Why are they going to follow your stupid amendment on whatever? Like, come on, get real. I can't stand these people sometimes.
No, I mean, there is no
No disagreement?
No disagreement on that one. No, the violation of amendments between the first, second. You could even say like your Fourth Amendment rights with privacy, with the medical tyranny that was done. With they're trying to roll out with some of these vaccine passports. I know the United States is not widely adopting them. I know places like China are, and the UK is looking at them. I have not seen any sort of movement towards I have not seen any law or anything that's been moving towards this in the United States, other than maybe a few airline carriers are talking about some kind of thing. But then again, there's no way they're gonna. There's no
Doesn't
way.
it like violate HIPAA laws?
Yeah, but
They don't care.
they don't care. 14th Amendment. Violated the 14th Amendment. No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges and immunities of citizens, nor shall any state derive someone of the personal life, liberty, and property without due process. So, the whole 14th Amendment, that's gone too. The whole thing about, life, liberty, property, pursuit of happiness. The state cannot derive that from you without due process. And there was no due process for shutting a business down or closing down your entire. There's a complete violation of the 14th Amendment. I will go to the mat on
But
anybody
Jacob,
that
this
wants.
is an emergency.
Doesn't matter. I will go.
It's an emergency, Jacob.
I will go to the mat on anybody that is a violation of their 14th Amendment rights to their life, liberty, and property.
It's like all of a sudden the left finds the invisible hand of the marketplace, saying, "Oh well, with private business, private business, they're allowed to take Trump off of Twitter. They're allowed to stop, printing Dr. Seuss books. They finally found the free market. They finally found private enterprise. Oh, but you can't open your business because pandemic."
That's what's so funny. I find that hilarious. Like whenever some big name likes libertarian or anarchist or whoever voices an opinion like, hey, maybe we shouldn't be banning Dr. Seuss.
Yeah.
Or maybe banning Twitter is probably not the best thing to do. They say, oh, libertarians all against the free market now. Ooh. Even though I'm, advocating massive taxation, I am for these lockdowns. But, you against the free market now? Ooh, what's the matter?
I got Democratic Socialist in my bio.
Yeah, what's the matter? You all of a sudden against the free market now? You're also against the visible hand of the market to fix everything? Double standard much, guys.
Actually, it's funny. I read an article about that, about how, was it Hasbro? Is not Hasbro, but the company that makes Mr. Potato Head and Dr. Seuss. This guy was literally saying that the conservatives are losing their conservative principles by being outraged over the fact that the company is changing the name from Mr. Potato Head to a more gender-neutral avenue, and that Dr. Seuss is no longer publishing 6 of his books. It's like, listen, you can be the most pro-free market capitalist in the world, but you can still disagree with the decision a company makes, right? You don't have the left. This is where the left doesn't understand the right. The left thinks that the right are just corporate slaves to their corporate masters. They just repeat the talking points of their corporate masters. That could not be farther from the truth. You can still disagree with a decision that Dr. Seuss made about not publishing 6 of their books. You can say, hey, this isn't a good idea. Or when they fired Gina Carano from The Mandalorian, they say, hey, Disney, you suck. You shouldn't have done that. Oh, but the free market, you can hire and fire whoever you desire. No.
No one's arguing against that.
No one's arguing against it. No one's saying Disney can't fire her. They're just saying, hey, you shouldn't have fired her because everybody's a Nazi these days and everybody makes Nazi comparisons, right? Bill Maher said the new, I don't like you because you're a Nazi. It's just, I just don't like you.
I mean, that's true.
It's so true. So you can, just because you disagree with a decision a company made doesn't mean you're rejecting Adam Smith's the invisible hand over the marketplace.
Adam Smith. I actually wrote a whole thing about Adam Smith for a class one time.
He's lukewarm.
He was good for the time.
Yeah, for the time
He
great.
He set the groundwork to move forward.
Sure.
He paid his contributions.
Yeah.
One of the good guys.
Good.
One of the good guys.
Okay.
There was I lost my train of thought. there was something.
The power compels you to come back.
No,
to that
man,
train of thought.
I do find it funny. I do find it funny that with the whole thing, especially with Dr. Seuss, there was a funny tweet that someone said, and then because apparently Dr. Seuss is being canceled because apparently he drew an Asian, like he drew an Asian stereotype, which apparently that's now grounds for cancellation. You know, wait till that person who was offended finds out about FDR, then we'll really get some. You know, we're canceling Dr. Seuss over that, but I don't remember us tearing down photos.
Well, for people that live in Wokesville, history began yesterday, so they don't know about FDR, other than the fact that he saved us from the Great Depression.
He saved us, man.
Won World War II and all of that.
He did all of that, all from his wheelchair.
That's right. Get a load of this guy. He wouldn't stand for the national anthem. Wouldn't stand for the flag. I mean, come on.
Un-American, FDR. Un-American. But I do find it funny that people will completely justify it, saying, "Oh, it's a free market." But then I'll hit them with the lockdown crap, and they say, "Oh, hold up a second. Yeah. That's a completely different story."
Is it?
Is it?
No,
it's not. Same thing. Same principle. Should they cancel Dr. Seuss? I'd probably argue not. Dr. Seuss is perfectly fine. Okay, nothing wrong with Dr. Seuss.
It's Dr. Seuss.
You know, look, if we have come this far, and the man has been writing books for well over 50 years, and now we're having an issue with him, maybe it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, I sent this tweet out. I think it was yesterday. It might have been today. But it says, it's a meme. Imagine living in a world where Cardi B's WAP wins Song of the Year. Yet Cat in the Hat is deemed inappropriate content, and Disney slaps content warnings on The Muppet Show.
I mean,
and then there's that awesomeness right there.
I mean, Clown World doesn't really.
But think about that, though. I mean, what is so horrendous about Dr. Seuss? Dr. Seuss. I mean, come on. There's nothing wrong with it.
But Joe, it's offensive.
The reason why the right doesn't like it is because it's a trend of cancel culture. Now, the left likes to link cancel culture to the right wing, and the right wing likes to link cancel culture to the left wing. I say it's a little bit of both. Both of yous want control. Cancel culture is all about power. It's all about control. The right knows that they have no control over the culture, but yet they want it. And the left knows that they own basically literally everything. And so they can do this thing with carte blanche. So it's just a big power grab. Everyone's in on it.
Except you.
Except me. It's a big club, and I sure ain't in it.
Yeah, none of us are in that big club. I'm still waiting for my invite into the big white club too. Still just waiting for that invite. Whenever you get somebody the invite, I'll be happy to be part of the white club, the straight white male club, to make all the very important decisions. You know, I'm still waiting on that. So that's all I had to talk about was just those couple things. Did you have anything you wanted to mention before we head into the kind of the little?
Oh yeah, I was just looking at cancel culture today, and Turner Classic Movies will be examining 18 classic movies, including Breakfast Club at Tiffany's, Psycho, Gone with the Wind, My Fair Lady, for sexist and racist content. Now, it doesn't actually say what they're going to do, if they're not going to show these movies anymore, if they're going to put more disclaimers up, but it's like, listen, if you don't realize the fact that Gone with the Wind was made, I don't know, a really long time ago, and things were just slightly different back then, again, I know, we're speaking to people that think history started yesterday, but listen, grow a spine. If you don't like it, don't watch it. You know, isn't that just a bizarre concept? If you don't like something, don't watch it. If you don't want to read the book, don't read the book. If you don't want to watch the Muppets, don't watch the Muppets. If you don't like Gina Carano, don't watch The Mandalorian.
But
if you don't like Psycho, don't watch Psycho.
But
don't rain on my parade because you are offended. Screw you.
Joe, you don't understand. If I don't like it, it does not have the right to exist.
But what about my feelings? What if I'm offended that you're offended?
It doesn't
Can I
matter.
cancel you now?
No, it doesn't matter. You're not allowed to. Look, if something is bad and I don't like it, therefore it does not have the right to exist.
Right.
That's just simple.
It's such a one-way street when it comes to this kind of crap. It's like, oh, well, I'm offended. But what about how I feel?
It doesn't matter what you're feeling.
I know.
You're a racist.
Oh, apparently so. Apparently I'm just some evil, awful person that that has lived a life of luxury, because I'm white and I'm straight. So yes, I guess you just automatically assume things because of the way I look. Oh, that sounds like racism.
Joseph, you don't understand. You're not allowed to criticize these things because you're white. Therefore, your opinion does not matter.
What are you gonna do?
It does not matter one little bit.
All right, Twitter trash.
All right, so I got a Twitter trash moment. I'm not gonna go rant on this too long because I saw this. Oh no, they got a John McAfee. This is completely off topic. A Manhattan federal court has indicted John McAfee for his cryptocurrencies team's executive advisor for fraud and money laundering. Oh, poor John McAfee. Oh boy, that guy can't catch a break. So everyone's favorite person to hate, Joy Reid, part of the Readout. I will say it actually is a pretty catchy name, the Readout. The person who was caught saying, wasn't it homophobic, wasn't it racist? She had a blog post that was old years ago, and they dug it up and showed it to everybody, and her comeback was, well, my computer was hacked. Joy, did you say these terrible racist homophobic things? Well, my computer was hacked.
Yeah.
Joy, did you say these
Yeah.
She never answered that. She just blamed the fact that she was hacked on that. Here's what she had to say. Here's what she had to say about today. This is her wonderful tweet that she actually, was it today or was it yesterday? It was yesterday. I'll say it again. People on the right would trade all the tax cuts for the ability to openly say the N-word like in the good old days. To them, not being able to be openly racist and discriminatory without consequence is oppression. Trump is the avatar for this freedom.
It's so bad. So bad.
So let me get this. So
That literally makes no sense.
Republicans in the right. She says the people on the right. So here we go. We're gonna play this which is the way that she's saying this. 70 million people would trade all the tax cuts in the world to openly say the N-word. What?
What?
I saw this.
Okay, Joy. If that were true, then why isn't it happening?
Look, here's the thing. Republicans have been kind of crap on tax cuts here recently. They're not exactly the bastions of. They're not exactly out there proposing and actually passing, fair taxes or eliminating taxes altogether. So, no. Is there someone out there? Is there like a GOP member who's like, we can't say this word, so we gotta just keep these tax cuts going out to help. Just don't mind us and our racism. Just keep the tax cuts going out.
That's right.
And of course she's being ratioed, and some people. And she's being absolutely. She's being absolutely ratioed right now. One thing I saw.
Go back to that. Okay, so it's a gif of Vince McMahon in a chair in the ring, and it says, "Is that an offer on the table?" And it's Vince McMahon getting out of the chair.
This is why I love this website. I'm telling you, man.
It's such a dumpster fire.
Look, you can spend all day just reading funny comments. The people's imagination are, I think it's hilarious. There's one stupid tweet I saw. It said, Joy Reid calls out. No, it's like GOP acts racist. Joy Reid calls out GOP, and then it was like a gif of like someone freaking out, and it was like, here's the GOP. So I mean, by default, look, the mask has slipped. I know that Joy is wearing a mask in her profile picture, which I think is the cringiest thing in the world. Just full disclosure.
Sometimes I'll tweet at her saying, "I'm sorry, can you speak up? I can't hear you through your mask."
Look, I seriously think that posting a photo, like having a profile picture of your mask is you and your mask is the absolute cringiest thing ever. But look, to each their own. You do you. I don't really care. Just to me personally, I think it's the cringiest thing ever. And of course, she says, "Joy and pro-democracy and masks read." Man, are you sure? Are you sure that you're really pro-democracy? Are you sure? Are you sure? Because I know that Texas, didn't Texas just open up, and wasn't Abbott elected, democratically? So is she against I don't, maybe.
It's only when it goes their way.
It's only when it goes their way.
Okay, so I got a special event, Jacob, that you and I might want to go to.
I'm listening.
Okay, so now there's a special speaker that's going to be there, and he happens to be a former Speaker of the House.
Whoa.
So please join us for our special. Please join our special guest, former Speaker of the House, Paul Ryan, for a virtual event honoring Congresswoman Liz Cheney. Don't you?
Sign me up. I'm there. We'll do it live.
Guess how much it is? Guess how much it costs to attend?
$300, $400.
$2,900.
Only the rich people are going to go to that.
You couldn't pay me that much money to go there. To hear Paul Ryan and Liz Cheney. Tim Pool tweeted the barfing emoji, the vomiting emoji. I was like,
don't you want to go see Liz Cheney, Joe?
I could think of a lot better things I could spend that money on.
$2,000?
Yeah, $2,900.
So $3,000. I mean,
yeah.
You factor in taxes and all that.
Yeah.
I mean, so what a deal! What a deal! I'll take 2, please. No, here's the thing. I'll go by myself, but I want to buy 2 tickets just because I want to go so much.
There you go. Because I support her so much.
I support Liz Cheney. Wasn't didn't John Brennan in last week's episode? Didn't he say that we need more honest Republicans like Liz Cheney?
Please.
Yes, John. The ones that don't mind you, arming ISIS and torturing people and all that fun things.
Did you see Starship or serial number 10 explode?
Yeah, dude, I saw it.
Pretty cool, huh?
I when I saw it, so first I saw a thing that said that it landed successfully, and like a minute later it said that it blew up.
Yeah.
Was it supposed to blow up or no?
No, no, it's not supposed to blow up. But it was kind of like, if it does, okay, fine. If it doesn't, oh, great. These are just rapidly built prototypes. And so if it blows up, whatever, there's 10 more in the hangar that are ready to go up.
So basically, like, they're just getting data right now.
Yes, they're just working out all the kinks, as it were.
They're just getting... Didn't Elon say, I think it was on Rogan's, because Rogan was asked about it blowing up, and he said that it'd be strange if it didn't blow up.
Yeah. At this stage, yeah.
It'd be weird if it didn't. It would be weird if it fell and didn't blow up.
Yeah, that's what I don't get. All the people are hating on him, right? Are hating on SpaceX right now, and it's like, do you realize how long it took Rocketdyne and NASA to perfect the F1 engine? It took a really long time. It took years for them to perfect that engine, and you know how many times it failed during a flight? 0. So I'd rather them work out all the
bunch of these.
I'd rather them blow up all the F1s on the test pad than blow up on ascent to the moon. So thank you.
Did you see there was somebody after the first Starship blew up, there was a funny meme I saw where it was a picture of it blowing up, and then it had an astronaut below, and it said first Starship pilot, and he's like, gulp.
That's funny.
But I think that is gonna do it for this episode. This week I did post a video on the YouTube channel. I will link the YouTube channel, and it's my name, Jacob Standridge. You can go check that video out. Let me know what you guys think. Comments, concerns. It's trying to not be too serious. It's trying to just be not overtly cringy, but like I'm just trying to not take things too super seriously and kind of just more. I mean, I do write a small script, but it's kind of just more off the cuff. Just kind of talking about some of the things that I don't get a chance to talk about on the show. Some of the smaller things, maybe some of the Twitter spats that I get into. I do want to do a whole thing about TikTok because, gosh, I just, one of my favorite people on Instagram is Joey B Tunes. because he points out all this kind of stuff. Like, it's one of those things that he inspires me to say things and criticize that dumb platform. But also, it's like, man, you do it so well. I just want to let you do it.
Yeah.
But
he does it better than anybody else.
Yeah, it's good. He hates narcissism, and I fully agree. It's a disgusting. Narcissism used to be condemned in culture
by everybody.
And now it is glorified, which is a funny twist turns.
Which I had to explain that to someone why I don't like influencers and TikTok and all that. And like I explained to them the whole reason why narcissism all down the list, and they're like, I still don't get it. And I was like, okay, whatever.
It's just different, dude.
Yeah, I'm about as square can be. I know.
Cut from a different cloth. Well, you can go check out that video. Let me know what you think. I think I cover a Jen Psaki goof.
How do you not know what you talked about?
No, I think I talked. I'm just trying to remember all the things I talked
yeah.
about. Jen Psaki said something stupid. The New York Times had a terrible headline, and the new postal trucks.
Oh yeah,
which are an abomination. They should be destroyed. Like, they should be canceled.
I wonder what postal worker Newman thinks about that.
Fully canceled those. I am against cancel culture, but canceled. I canceled. No regrets. What was that one? There was that one thread on Twitter. It said, if you could compromise one libertarian position, what would you compromise it for? And some people were saying, like the space program,
yeah,
or stuff like that. And I said banning TikTok. I said I'm against the government banning things, but it'd be if whenever Trump announced he would ban TikTok, I was like, oh no, please stop.
Don't.
No, don't. See, I don't want him to do it, but if he did it, I would be like, oh no, it's so sad.
I answered one of those
things today. I'm crying. I'm so sad.
One of those things. Which issue are you least libertarian on? For me, it was NASA. The rest of it can be blown up and reduced to ash. But NASA, I'm like, well, maybe we can keep it around for a little bit longer.
We did go to the moon.
Yeah, that's you don't see the IRS going to the moon, do you?
Their debt goes to the moon.
That's right. All right. Anyway, let's wrap it up because we're just rambling.
Twitters. You can follow me at JStandard_ at JerkStandard. Join the adventure. You can follow Joe at Joe Stanberg. The show email is thestandingbrothershow@gmail.com. AMA. I know I keep saying this for months now, but we're planning on doing one. But we need some questions. So if you want to send us some questions, you can do that. We will see you guys Monday and hope you have a wonderful weekend. Peace out.
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed. Roger, point. Tranquility, we copy you on the ground. We got a bunch of guys about to turn blue. We're breathing again. Thanks a lot.